Approaching ship. You've entered Freestar Collective space. Maintain your current course while we scan for contraband. Scan complete. You're clear to land.
Landing gear's ready.
Hi. Please disregard. I attempted an informal greeting, but I am dissatisfied with the results.
Over here!
The Freestar Rangers. You have no idea how happy I am to see you.
I'm Ranger Emma Wilcox. My deputy and I are here to help. Now, tell us what happened.
I was out planting in the fields when I saw some men approaching. They looked like soldiers with uniforms and weapons and such. They wanted to buy the farm. Didn't even ask if it was for sale. Their offer was so low, I told them right where they could stick it. They said they'd give me time to think about it, but if I didn't change my mind, I was gonna regret it. Then they left. Well, they sure as hell look like fighting men to me. Go see for yourself. They headed into the canyons back behind the house. That place is dangerous. Steep slopes, narrow trails, rock slides, and all manner of hostile creatures, too. If you're going after those men, be careful. Oh, there's one other thing. They said they were the first. The first of what, I'm not sure. But there must be more of them coming.
Thank you, ma'am. That should be enough for us to find these men. All right, deputy. Keep that weapon handy and your eyes sharp. Since these guys don't know we're after them, they're probably not making an effort to hide their tracks. Now, let's go and check out those canyons. Boot tracks. Several pairs by the look. Not too old either. Let's head down into the canyon and see if we can find more. Quiet out here. I like it. Nice change of pace from Aquila City.
Sightlines here are terrible. Anything could be ahead, or behind for that matter.
I grew up on a farm. Back when I was a kid, I used to love exploring and making maps. These canyons would have kept me busy for months. I'd have looked into every nook and cranny.
Hey, save that for the bad guys.
Look out!
You got time for a quick chat? I'd appreciate it when you're able. Hey, Good to see you. I'd appreciate your advice. After our last talk, I was really worried what you'd say, but I always feel better. Thank you. Cora's grandpa, good old Jacob, well, he just will not stop pestering me to see Cora. And that's complicated. I mean, can you blame them? She's something else. But things with my dad, my early years, they weren't good. My mother died when I was 7. Some people have such strong memories from their early life. Me, I mean, I remember her. I have some pictures. I remember the feelings, but just a few clear memories. She banged up her knee real good in an accident. So she went in for knee replacement. Supposed to be routine, but that damn anesthesiologist dropped the ball. And one day Mom's fine, and the next, doctors take her away. She had these truly ancient cameras, like caveman type things. Had a room with a red light. She developed pictures she took in this chemical bath. I remember sitting on a stool, looking up at them slowly fading in, and it was like alchemy to me then. And that's all I have. Just glimpses like that. You better believe it. So, Jacob raised me on his own, and shit, maybe I don't give him enough credit. I mean, I know how tough it is, but he was strict, hard. Dad was a longtime civil servant, a big man in government, and he had a future all laid out for me. Man, could he get his hooks into you. He was scary good at that. Exactly. If we wanted big bloated government, we'd head over to the UC. He was my dad, though, when I was a young pup. But I tried. I felt the weight of legacy. I wanted to do him proud. He said I had to learn the business, run some freight, see how credits flow, speak the language. Meanwhile, he's working some angle for a government job for me after. That sounded even more miserable than what I was doing. Oh, I started to. Many, many times. He'd always steer the conversation away or just use logic to dissect every little point. Once I held my ground, and he said I was an ungrateful child, not worthy of what he was doing. I know, right? Even after I was with the Rangers, Dad was just always needling, angling for me to join the government. But by then I knew myself more, and I could stand up to him. And Lillian, well, she helped. If I let Jacob into Cora's life, he'll dream up some big future for her and tie her into knots like he did with me. The man could teach a masterclass in manipulation. I mean, I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure that freight company was silently partnered with good old Dad. And the smuggling? I wouldn't put it past him to be involved. Very involved. He always did a good job of keeping that side of the business hidden from everyone. Especially me. Well, no. But he hasn't had much opportunity. And he's a sly one. Not sure I'd be able to spot anything. Yeah, but she's only 12 and... Well, I see what you did there. If I just flat out say no, I'm a hypocrite, right? I guess I got more to think about. Better we get it than someone else.
Good eye, Deputy. Looks like we're heading in the right direction. Got a situation here!
Tough break from her. Hopefully whatever got them doesn't get us.
Grab some cover! Watch it! mission here.
May stink to high heaven, but it's all part of the job.
You're a natural tracker. Smell that? I'd bet my badge that's wood smoke from a campfire. They're close. Be ready.
Fun times ahead. Stay frosty.
Rangers distracted?
That don't concern you. If the Rangers get in our way, then they get what they deserve. That's all you need to know. Now quit complaining and get back to your post. Well now, look who's here. Ms. Wagner called in the cavalry. Except it ain't much of a cavalry. I suggest you turn around and walk away while you still can.
A firefight here could get messy. Some good old-fashioned talking might be the ticket.
That's none of your damn business. Oh, it ain't exactly the farm that's special, but that ain't none of your business. Don't recognize the uniforms. Guess I shouldn't be surprised. It's like the Major said, everyone's conveniently forgotten. Forgotten our sacrifice. Forgotten how we were betrayed. We'll make them all remember soon enough. I promise you that. You think you're in a position to make demands. Well, I've got news for you. All you're getting from me is a shallow grave. So, got any last words I should try to remember? Oh, I think it does. We've been found out! Don't let him leave here alive!
late on me.
Hey, that was a lot rougher than I expected. Let's talk. Are you okay? Really? Guess you've led a pretty exciting life. Maybe the less I know about that, the better. Let's search the area. Maybe we can find something that explains what these guys were up to. Hopefully, we can find something that explains who these guys were and why they were after the Wagoner farm. Likewise. have a look around.
And sometimes things just go your way. You gotta drop something.
You handled yourself well. Find anything interesting? Let's see what we have here. Interesting. So, their ship was stolen from the Hope Tech factory. Whoever pulled that off must have been one hell of a shipjacker. Well, I guess someone really wants that farm bad. Speaking of which, let's get back there and let Miss Wagner know that she's safe. For now.
I must confess, if you're looking for something in particular, well, mildly interesting at least. Here. No, that's it then. Who doesn't like loot, am I right?
What's the news? What happened? Did you find those men? I'd always heard the Freestar Rangers were dependable, and now I've seen it firsthand. So who were they? And why do they want my farm? Hope Tech? The cargo ship company? Sorry, I don't know anything about that. They say the Rangers always get their man, so to speak. I'm sure you'll figure it out. I can't thank you enough. I'd hate to be remembered as the wagoner who couldn't hold on to the farm that's been in the family for so long. Of course. All the same, I'm grateful.
If you have any more trouble, give us a call. We're in system, so it won't take long to get someone out here. All right, Deputy. Let's get back to the rock. We need to report this to the Marshal.
I wonder why Solomon named this place Aquila. You'd think I know the answer to that, but I don't. It's good to be out and about. Lives get stuffy sometimes. Happy to even up. Later. the city. Feels like I spent half my life trying to get out of this place.
You know, I went to chef school. This ain't exactly where I saw this.
That's the rock. Ranger.
Hey, deputy. New deputy, huh? Honor to have you.
What's the story on Montero Luna?
That call we got from Wagner Farm turned out to be a little more interesting than I was expecting. Some men were trying to run the Wagners off the land. They tried to buy it first, but when that didn't work, they turned to threats. We confronted them, and unfortunately, it came to violence. None of them survived.
You helped someone in need and came back alive. That's a job well done. You did good, but a celebration might be a little premature.
I agree. Until we see the whole picture, we won't know if Miss Wagner is truly safe.
What did you make of these men who were trying to take the farm? I had a feeling you were no stranger to combat. Good thing, too, given the turn of events.
Spent some time in uniform, huh? Respect.
Now, did you find anything that might give us a lead on why these men wanted the farm? Hope Tech ships ain't exactly cheap. That thief could probably tell us a lot about these men you ran into.
There's something else. They were dressed in Freestar militia uniforms. The unit badge was yellow on black with the number 1. They also said something about being forgotten. They seemed bitter about it, resentful. Didn't you fight in the Colony War, Marshal? Any of that sound familiar?
The 1st Cavalry. I was in that unit for a while. But it was disbanded decades ago, after the Battle of Nera. What was left of it, anyway. The war between the United Colonies and the Freestar Collective? Worst conflict the settled systems has ever seen. Each side unleashed terrible weapons on the other. And countless people died. The armistice was signed 20 years ago. But a lot of folks still bear their scars. I suppose it ain't impossible, but it's real damn unlikely. The unit was pretty much wiped out. and the few that survived ended up in prison after a court-martial for disobeying orders. I don't recall how long the sentence was. The 1st Cavalry lost almost all their mechs and soldiers in a big push to take the United Colonies base. They were just about there when a ceasefire order came down. Both sides had just lost too much by then. It was a bloodbath. The commanding officer of the 1st disobeyed the order. He didn't want the lives of his soldiers to be sacrificed for nothing. They court-martialed him, and the rest of the surviving officers, and locked them all up. No, it doesn't. Just raises more questions. It's a good bet that starship thief can help us get some answers. The Hope Tech factory is in Hope Town on Polvo. Nia Kalu's our ranger stationed out there. She can introduce you to Ron Hope, the president of Hope Tech. He might be able to help you find the thief. Just make sure you stay on his good side. He's on the Council of Governors, and they're the ones we answer to. The ruling body that oversees the Freestar Collective and the Rangers. The council members are the political and corporate elite of the Freestar Collective, so we have to tread lightly when we're dealing with them. Proud, stubborn, and smart. A self-made man. He built Hope Tech through blood, sweat, and sheer willpower. Good. The last thing I need is the council breathing down my neck. This is your assignment now, Deputy. Work with the other Rangers. Find out what you can about those men on Montera Luna. Meantime, I'll look into a possible connection with the 1st Cavalry. Good hunting.
Mayday! This is Freestar Ranger Nia Kalu. If anyone is hearing this, system's failing. Need help. I repeat, need help.
Welcome to the Freestar Collective. Please maintain your current course while we scan your ship. And that's it. You're cleared to land at Hope Town.
Pressure normalized, and we're docked.
Oh, it's you. Please tell me you're here to help, not to try and steal my ship. You need my help. I'd laugh if it didn't hurt so much. I was tracking a crew of outlaws that's been preying on merchant ships. Bastards got the drop on me. I ran them off, but they got a few good hits in. As you can see, I ain't in much shape to make repairs. No chance. They took as much of a beating as I did, while outnumbering me 3-1, I'd like to point out. Repair my ship? Please. I'll be fine once the pain medication kicks in. The priority right now is the ship. Can't do my job without it. Just patch her up enough to get to Hopetown. The rest can get fixed up there. Thanks. I owe you one. Thanks. That should get me home. You're right. They were pretty beat up, so I don't think they got real far. But if they make it back to their hideout, I might never find them again. We can't let that happen. Light armaments, not too fast. Pilots are gifted amateurs, but still amateurs. You'll be outnumbered, but they'll be damaged, which should even things up for you. They look to be heading for Polvo's moon Miatha. Good hunting.
Where to next?
Separation complete. shot at their grav drive? Bye-bye, enemy shields. Ah!
Collect to space. Hold while we scan your ship. All right, we're done. Welcome to Hopetown.
Yeah, the way you handle things. You want me to carry something? Goodbye.
I don't want to hear any complaints.
they?
Yes.
This was literally nothing.
You ready to do some
Marco
business?
came here.
There ain't any handouts here. You need to protect what's yours. But if you do, you can be your own person. I'll take that over being a corporate drone any day of the week. Hopefully something catches your eye.
Mayday is always it.
We'd be dust, except for the factory.
You made it. Those outlaws didn't give you too much trouble, I trust? I can walk, talk, and breathe without too much pain. That's good enough for me. Good. I'm sure it didn't hurt that I softened him up for you. You've got good timing. A courier just came in from Aquila. The Marshal sends his regards along with a briefing on your case. I was surprised as hell to learn about the starship theft. Nobody said a word to me about it. Anyway, Mr. Hope can see us whenever you're ready. If you need to take a little time first, feel free. No, and I can't get answers as to why not. I'm sure Mr. Hope has his reasons. His office is upstairs. He's in a meeting, but it should be wrapping up. Come on.
Trucks in space. Their motto always cracks me up.
The Council oversees the Freestar Rangers, so don't rile them up. I've spent a long time trying to build a good relationship with Hope. He comes on a little strong, but there's a lot to admire about the man. Everything you see around you, he built. Pretty much everyone in this town owes him for their livelihood. Can't begin to imagine the kind of pressure that must put on someone. All I'm saying is, try to show a little respect. All the way up. Is it just me, or does every executive in the settled systems have an office on the top floor? I guess being above everyone makes them feel like they're, well, above everyone.
As for parts, we could try outsourcing. Do a contract with scavengers, maybe, but that's a decision that's got to be made upstairs.
Well, talk to Elaine about the scavengers. It's not a bad idea, provided we get a good deal. And I don't mean a fair deal. I mean a good deal. Remember, it's not just our bottom line that matters. We're also responsible for the welfare of everyone in the factory. We look out for our people here, Bridget. That's a point of great personal pride.
Excuse me, Mr. Hope?
Well now, the Freestar Rangers. At last! Dan, good to see you. I think we're done here, Bridget.
Yes, sir.
This is the deputy I told you about.
Splendid. Splendid! It's a noble calling being a Freestar Ranger. We certainly could use more of you. Let's get down to it, shall we? Time is money. I'm sure I don't have to tell you what an outrage it is to have a ship stolen right out of the factory. Justice must be done, and the sooner the better. That's good news. I'll send my people over to bring it home. Of course, that doesn't mean your work is done. I want the thief found and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. I'm sure I don't need to remind you of my position on the Council of Governors. Then, I trust that you know what I expect of you. Now, tell me that you've at least got a lead of some kind. Hmm? Perhaps I expected too much. You are just a deputy, after all. Well, I'm not sure I can be much help, but I'll answer whatever questions I can. No, nothing at all. It was just a standard Hope-Tech cargo hauler. Not that it didn't have great value, mind you. Hope-Tech builds some of the most durable and reliable starships in the settled systems. Now, you can bet my ships last twice as long as anything Stroud Eklund makes. We questioned everyone who was in the building when it happened, and not one person seems to have seen anything at all. Frankly, I think that's both highly unlikely and more than a little suspicious. However, I can't deny there are times when the hangar is empty, so it's not inconceivable the thief could have slipped in unseen. What? Nonsense! We vet our people thoroughly here. Hope-Tech holds its employees to the very highest standards. Nevertheless, I suppose I could have Cosette conduct a thorough personnel review. Rest assured, if we turn up any evidence that one of our people was an accomplice, I'll let you know. Because I told them not to. If word got out, it would do irreparable harm to our image. I'm in fierce competition with other starship manufacturers. Any sign of weakness could be fatal. What's more, every starship thief in the settled systems would likely flock to Hopetown and start planning the next heist. Very well. I need you to understand something, Deputy. This town is home to men, women, and children who depend on Hope-Tech for a living. I provide jobs that put food on their tables and a roof over their heads. It's a responsibility that I take very seriously. If word gets out about the stolen ship, my investors will lose trust, and my workers will pay the price. I can't allow that.
You've got a reputation for looking after your own, Mr. Hope. I'm sure the deputy here will keep that in mind.
Is that so? Well, I'm glad to hear it. I've worked hard to make sure that everyone here is well cared for. I hope so.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Hope, but there's been a development.
Not now, Cosette. I'm in the middle of something.
But sir, we have new information. I've just received a report that the stolen ship was seen landing at Neon just after the theft.
A breakthrough at last. Well, Deputy, it sounds like you'll be heading to Neon, which means I can get back to work. Remember what we discussed. My people are depending on you.
Hey, can I get a word?
Off-worlders. Nothing good ever comes from them.
Okay, let's talk about next steps. That wasn't as helpful as it could have been. Still, at least you know where to pick up the trail. Let's hope. So, guess you're headed for Neon. There's a ranger stationed there. Name's Jalen Price. He's a little different than the rest of us. But Neon's a different kind of place. He's what I'd call a pragmatist. He sees things for what they are. He's also well-connected, which means a lot on Neon. You should listen to what he tells you. It'll keep you out of trouble. Well, we could talk for an hour about that. The short version would be that crime, law, and justice don't exactly mean the same things there. The badge doesn't carry the same weight on Neon, so you might have to get creative. He should be able to help you out. Well, we've both got work to do. It was good to meet you, Deputy. Thanks again for helping me out up there. I'll be taking it easy for a couple of days. Need time to heal up. Then, I need to get back up there and keep an eye out for more pirates. I'm hoping to track one of their ships so I can find their hideout. Guess we could both use a little luck, huh?
Cosette.
Yeah, the question of who helped the Starship thief is still an open one. Don't you worry. I'll keep an ear to the ground. You be careful in Neon.
Idle. You think we neglect our duty? Mr. Hope's protection and welfare is my sole concern. If we distract ourselves with other matters...
Just keep it holstered. We'll get along fine.
But if something happens right in front of my people, we will call it in.
Thank you, Cosette. Workers like to play hard here. They deserve it.
Sure, we get the occasional bar fight, but it's usually pretty quiet around here.
Ron Hope's a damned hero in my book.
Oh, no. That wouldn't work. The O2 needs enough capacity for the whole ship. Yes?
Welcome to Hope Tech Sales. Give me your invoice. You got the financing set up already? Some middle manager type? Like 90% of everybody I deal with. Listen, you may need to impress your boss and all, but I don't care. Let's just get this done as efficiently as possible, and I'll just tell everybody how amazing you were. Oh, a potential customer, huh? Well, what you need to know about our ships is they're from stern to bow, built for reliability. Other star yards might got glitz or some weird crazy lines. With Hope Tech, you get people that care about you making that 300th freight run safely and on time. Listen, this whole system was nothing until Ron Hope came here. He gave us a purpose, a mission. Something we could be proud of. To us, this job is life. And the quality of what we make shows it.
What? The application list is a parsec long. I've been trying to get my brother a job here. He's got a degree in starship engineering. Didn't even score an interview.
A smart person chooses substance over form every time. Sound familiar? So what are you in the market for? Let me show you our inventory.
As long as you keep the peace, you're good in my book.
We here for the lodge?
Captain! Over here!
The workup's in the cabinet's hands. They said they'll call for us once they've gotten to properly review it. But listen, I know I should have been more forthcoming about who I was earlier. So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know before we head up there. My relationship with the UC, it's more complicated than it might seem at first glance. The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place. I am a clone of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC Navy. They called him Ve Victus, woe to the defeated, in Old Earth Latin, a title he earned. The program I was a part of, it was the UC's attempt to create a new generation of military minds from one of their most respected tacticians. Secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come. I'm the last. A few of my siblings, they passed when we were young. Training accidents and the like. But most of the rest were deployed to the front lines during the Colony War, and they never came back. Not a day goes by where I don't think about what the world would look like with them still in it. A non-trivial amount of gene editing. Clone, honestly, isn't even really the right term for our relationship, thanks to the amount of donor material that was required to bring me into this world. He and I are different on more than a few levels, but there's no denying the fact we're inextricably linked. He would have happily told you he was one of the greats. Ultimately, though, it didn't matter. The man I was cloned from, my father, was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot of death on both sides. Freestar Collective and UC. Military and civilians. And the things he did, well, they're a part of the reason the UC and Freestar Collective aren't really on great terms to this day. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle they throw at us up there. I just wanted you to be forewarned. He had his men open fire on civilian ships during the Battle of Cheyenne. A battle that he ultimately ended up losing anyway, devastating the UC fleet and bringing the Colony War to an ugly end for the UC. But he's also the one who ordered the bombing of the Londinian spaceport during their outbreak, condemning countless lives. Both sides agreed the settled systems would be better without him. I really appreciate you saying that. I just thought you deserved to know, considering how much you've done already. You know, while we've got a second, was there anything else we needed to discuss? I know you got dropped into the middle of this pretty fast. Or, if you've got any last-minute business to attend to, now might be a good time. No telling how long the cabinet's gonna keep us waiting out here. That's actually a souvenir from my time on Mars. The Red Devils unit I was a part of, they were founded by recruits who'd worked some of Mars' deepest mines. Folks used to adversity. The dust at those depths, it seeps into everything. The human eye included. Where the name Red Devils came from in the first place. It became an unwritten rite of passage that anyone wanting to enlist with the Devils had to do a stint in the mines before they could join up. The Devils were always talked about in such revered tones during my training, so as soon as I was old enough, I signed up. And the eyes were my parting gift. I mean, we never spent a lot of time together. He was too busy being Fleet Admiral to deal with kids. I was raised by a pair of guardians instead. Until his defeat during the Colony War, though, he was known as an extremely effective commander. Savvy, perceptive. That mind opened a lot of doors for him. And for me too. But Ve Victus, for all his ability, was heartless. Ruthless to a fault. In the end, that's what cost him his life. Well, thinking about it more, I suspect there'd be value in sharing the fact that the Terramorph project was, well, a failure. There's no need to be afraid of this data being weaponized. Knowing that should calm some of the Cabinet's fears and make it easier for us to dispel any suspicions the other factions might have about our intentions. Eye strain from the amount of reading I've got on the horizon if we succeed. The Terramorph project never went anywhere. It couldn't. They're deadly creatures, but they aren't xenoweapons. The Cabinet not opening the archives is probably a bigger risk than them handing over the files. That data itself isn't dangerous, which probably wouldn't be a bad point for us to bring up, should the opportunity arise. Then I guess it's just a matter of...
The Cabinet meeting is about to begin. All parties, please proceed to the Cabinet chambers.
Sounds like our cue. Here we go.
Ah, Captain. Congratulations on joining the ranks of the Vanguard.
Ah, welcome. You must be the captain Hadrian mentioned in her report. You have our thanks for the risks you faced in securing this information.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yes, well, precisely how urgent is what I hope we'll determine here today. So now, we have two petitioners here making a surprising request. Access to the UC Xeno Warfare Team's Terramorph data, currently housed in the Armistice archives. A request which will require not just this body's agreement, but that of all three Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun. Now, Captain, we've all read Hadrian's report on the subject, but we have yet to hear from you. Perhaps you could summarize for the Cabinet what it is you see as the goal of this endeavor.
That's quite the leap, Captain. Madam President, I object to the very premise of this meeting. While no one would argue that what happened on Tau Ceti was anything less than a tragedy, Terramorph attacks are not some sudden new threat on the horizon. They've been happening for generations. to demand we hand over banned archival knowledge and possibly upset the balance of galactic diplomacy because of a single attack seems at best panic. And at worst, a power grab by the daughter of a bloodthirsty warmonger and her associates.
I would remind the chief diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, you're welcome to consult a medium. I would also ask how many deaths the cabinet requires to act. 50? 50,000? Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
Let's keep this civil, shall we? And while there should be no doubt the preservation of life stands paramount among this body's duties, Chief Yassine has a point. Will a single attack, however troubling, be sufficient to convince the other factions to grant us access to what they no doubt consider weapon data? I don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help, Captain. As the one who actually collected the sample in question, did this terramorph seem at all alarming to you?
Just taking her word for it as well, then.
So it would seem. So then, Captain, given the discussion now and the information you've been privy to thus far, if you were in our position, would you grant the request made to open the archives?
If the stakes weren't so high, we wouldn't be asking. But, well, we're asking.
I'm inclined to agree.
As am I.
Well, I am not. I've heard nothing here to convince me that we should do anything but wait. And I will not risk galactic peace on a question of if.
Yes, a fair assessment, Chief Diplomat. So then, while the data you two have presented is compelling, I think we can safely say it's insufficient for the level of action you've requested. Perhaps once we've... What was that?
I got some stuff to do. We have time.
Facility lockdown engaged.
Incident. Chief Sarkin, what's happening?
There's been an attack at the spaceport. Terramorphs.
Terramorphs. More attacks. Just as predicted.
Good God. There must be another explanation. The creatures evaded our scanner somehow.
There will be plenty of time for conjecture later. Chief Sarkin, order the evacuation of the spaceport and have your men contain the things, but do it discreetly. The last thing we need is a citywide panic.
Yes, ma'am.
Admiral Logan, the local barracks can provide support?
I'll make the order myself. Nearest anti-Xeno squad, though, is off-world. Going to take a while to bring them in.
Well then, we'll have to make do with the tools we've got. You two, we can't risk those things getting out of the spaceport. I want you both on the next train there. We'll let them know you're coming and that you've dealt with these things before. Now go show them how it's done.
Sometimes I feel a bit guilty, sitting behind a desk, deciding the fate of others.
him. Who's next?
Thank you for what you did. We didn't want to hurt them.
The way those people were acting, I've seen this before. They were under the Terramorph's influence, weren't they?
I don't know. They were down at the port and they just started screaming. We tried to restrain them, get them on the train to get them out of harm's way, but some of the other officers down there, we couldn't restrain them fast enough. They just started firing on us. People we knew. They went berserk.
Pheromonic projection. Some Terramorphs, they can induce this fog. It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control, turn against everyone around them, even if they don't want to. They're like a puppet. You kill the morph, you break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be real careful with our fire, and keep that EM weapon at the ready. I honestly was just wondering the same thing. But no, you don't need to worry about me. I've had a Terramorph try it on me before. I'm not susceptible. So we'll just have to make sure to watch out for each other down there. I'm not suggesting. It's documented behavior. The result of the projection, though, can vary wildly. Some folks just shrug it off. Others hallucinate. And some lose control altogether. They'll lash out at anyone around them. But still be aware while they're doing it. Those cases, you'll either need to knock them out with EM fire, or free them by killing the Terramorph. Let's do it.
Nat's unlocked. Please, do what you can to help them.
spots. We've got the remaining creatures locked down on the landing pad, but we're barely holding our perimeter. They said you've done this before. Well, one fire team to spare and whatever supplies you need, but I can't risk them taking over any more women. Put those things down and do it fast. We'll hold them as best we can.
You two have any experience with Terramorphs before?
Only the brief they just gave on the way here, but we know how to handle pressure.
Surviving a full-on mental assault isn't the same as keeping your cool in a firefight. Might make you more liability than asset.
We're not UC security. You don't need to worry about us. We're not afraid. But we'll stay here and hold the line if that's what you want. You're the experts. Your call. We're on the line.
wonder what Jacob would think of a crow helping to save New Atlantis. Damn if I'm not proud of it, though. I don't know about you.
Guess they weren't kidding about you two. Universe put the right people in the right place. Certainly doesn't feel like it.
I don't want to think what would have happened if you two hadn't been here.
Just glad we could rise to the occasion. Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the Terramorphs have been dealt with. Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
That's it. Now hit him with everything you've got.
How the hell do Terramorphs get into the city?
That's a relief to hear. Thank you, gentlemen. Let your people all know how much we owe them today.
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, there you are. I believe we have some things we should discuss.
Those creatures killed UC citizens. They're not killing anymore.
When UC security loses an officer, I make it my responsibility to call their family. I've got a lot of calls to make now.
Captain? Hadrian? It would appear that the Cabinet owes you our thanks for what you did for the city today. As well as an apology. Your concerns about the Terramorphs, well, consider them validated.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. I only wish we could have acted sooner. Now, after today's events, the Cabinet has decided to revisit its previous decision. We will be supporting your collection of the Terramorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these attacks. But to accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the Cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you, Hadrian, effective immediately, to your former rank of Major. As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and House Varun to play ball. Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies and all the galaxy are facing right now. The Cabinet wants you, Captain, to be that representative. The Cabinet wants progress, and wants it quickly. You're already far more familiar with the situation than any diplomat would be. There's also no diplomat alive that can claim they helped keep a cadre of terramorphs off the embassy doorsteps. The Cabinet was unanimous. They want you. We do. In exchange, we're willing to fast-track your citizenship upon collection of the data. So, will you help us? I'm glad to hear it. Now, we, of course, won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs will be your guide on gaining access to the archives. You should be able to find her in her office across the hall. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our thanks. You're dismissed.
Losing anyone who mind damage to the space project.
I'm gonna go check in with
This
Chief
attack
Engineer
greater than I
Kulkarni.
think we realize.
Start getting a plan together for
There
that
are so
date.
many different routes across the several systems, it's hard to keep up with all the work they're doing.
TVC, these orders can't be... Yes. Yes, sir. Consider it done.